Welcome back to the fourth video in this short series on processing MX7 data and making it ready and available in Trimble MX Publisher. Now, I've installed the Trimble MX software and a couple of things to get it running is just down in here. This is where the install was. If we have a look at program, we actually need to start the service. Once it's started, you won't need to switch it off again unless you were wanting to shift servers that it was running on or anything like that. But for now, I'll show the full process. So at the beginning, we hit service start. It's a bat file. It will okay to run that. And that should get the service running. So now if I come back a couple of folders, we've got this one. It's a shortcut to the Trimble MX console. You can see there it's taking a shortcut to localhost and a particular port and that console, and that's where we should have Trimble MX now running. I'll just drag that across to this window and we can see that there. If it's the first time that you have run this, you'll want to just come down into System, and you'll want to put in your activation key and hit activate as well. Once that's done, we're ready to go. There's a lot of settings we'll do in here, but I'll just stick to the main aspects of uploading a resource and previewing it and making it ready for view online. So at the moment we're empty. I'm going to go new, and if you've been watching through these series, I did actually shift my data into a little bit better location. In the previous video, I was putting it on the desktop. This time I have gone and made a folder called Trimble MX Publisher Data Storage. You can see here, I've given it a name of the actual data run timeframe, and there's that orbit mobile mapping run and the .omr file. So we could select that. It'll populate the name into there. And if we're wanting to visualize different epochs of data, then we really want to have it defined here to say when we started and stopped this particular data run. We can add a time zone too. So I'll come down here to Australia. Go Australia, Melbourne, Australia, Victoria will do. Okay. If we wanted to add a description, a thumbnail for the hyperlink or anything like that, if it was, we don't need buildings or anything with this one, and we can also tag it, which makes it a little bit easier to search through later. But for now, that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to create that resource. Now we've got our resource set. We'll come down to publications, create a new publication, and TMX training for MX7. You can give it a description as well and control a few other things in here also. These control what views are available, but they can be edited within the publisher as well. So I'm going to create the publication. And now we'll do some editing within the actual viewer. So I'll hit this. I've just made mine admin for the password there. And we jump into here. Can't see anything at the moment. So what we'll want to do is click on Open Resource Sidebar, click to add, and this will include this one in there. Now, one thing to remember, we want to update the publication. We're happy with that being in there. We want to update it. And then we can start controlling other things that we'll want. Later on, we might want to have a map view in the bottom, and we can add a reference. So we're bringing in some map view. If I put that there, then at least as I zoom in, we can see where we are. And so as I rotate around and get it to jump forwards, we'll see ourselves jumping through there. We can also change out that background color, and then what we'll get coming through here when we add something like an OpenStreetMaps or a Bing Maps is that will be available to us as well. So all reasonably straightforward in there. We just make sure we update publication. We've got a number of settings in here, and some things we'll want to control. For instance, view, where are we? Navigation, invert zoom direction. There we go. And it's zooming back and forth in the right way that I'm used to. And we can choose what we have sitting in the side here by choosing these, choosing to turn off some of these, choosing what measurements we can do, how the timeline will display, and so on. A lot of different settings in there, a whole series on it. But for now, let's just update that publication. We'll close out of that, and we'll come back to all of our publications here. If I click from here and say view resources, we could see any that are associated in there. Now, if I go to the actual launch, sign in, oh, not letting me in at the moment. Let's have a look at how we've configured this. So under the sharing, we've asked for a login to be required. I can just switch that off, and then if I come back to here and go to launch, I need to set the amount of, let's say that's for 2 users. And now we'll launch again. Here we go. So a little bit easier there to set that and have it launch without a username or password. If we did want to restrict this, we can. We just need to set up a user so that there is someone we work against for having a password and username. So just in here, we'll go to users. We'll create a new one. We'll call it TMX test. And I'm going to make the password nice and easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Create that user. Down in my publications, I come back to this share and I'll say login required. And now I switch on that user is going to be able to jump in there. And so now when I go to launch, ask me for username. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just make sure I've typed that correctly and sign in. And away we go, we're in. Now this is the address that we would be sharing. And this works within my own PC, but if we're needing to share this externally and push this out to more people, then instead of having localhost, we'd need to replace that with the IP address of the actual system. So in doing that, we'll just have to find what the IP address of this is, and if we're needing to pass through out to the wide area network, then open up a port through the router so that we're able to actually contact that IP address on that particular port and make it work nice and easily. I think that will be for another video, and we'll leave it there for now, that we can get that data in and published and operational for people to jump into and consume. Thanks for tuning in.